Hi everybody. So what you're looking at on screen here is my Lightroom catalog of the images that I've loaded the last couple of days. I'm in Mala Mala and I want to show you in this video a very easy way, it works for me, to download every day in the evening, after lunch, whatever the case is, and very quickly go through and start creating some structure in your catalog. So what you're seeing here, this is all the images that I've downloaded from the last couple of days. What I want you to notice though is you'll see that some of these images are marked with yellow and other ones are marked with red, and then there's a whole bunch without any marking or ranking or whatever the case is. So let me just step back here for a moment. What I do, and remember, there are 50 ways to do these things in Lightroom. Actually, if you ask 10 people how they do it, you'll probably get 12 answers. So the way I see it is I want to import all my images onto my hard drive. I then want to go through and I want to do a few things. Number one, I want to get rid of the rubbish, the out of focus, the badly chopped off line without a head, whatever. I want to mark those as rejects, and then I want to sort through, and for me I color code in two different ways. Red I do for images that I think are worthy of a process, of being processed, and then on trips where I'm also shooting the people for them. So in this instance I'm shooting a lot of behind the scenes images for the guys that are on safari with me. Those are marked with yellow. So let me take you back to Lightroom here. I can then see here, the yellow ones are the ones that I'm going to process and share with the people. And then the red ones are the images that I'm going to use for my website. Remembering for me, I'm not looking for hero shots as such. I'm just looking for images that shows, for example, let me find something, just this is what you could see if you come to the area. So that's me. I'm doing red and I'm doing yellow. The nice thing is afterwards, I can go to attributes once I've done the marking. Here, I've filtered to red. There's all the images. So when I then start processing, I start here and I process through all of these. But I'll speak to you about that after this little video. If I want to look at all my yellow images, I just filter according to yellow by clicking at the top. And there, let me open this up a bit. There are all the images of people that I'm going to process and then send to them after their safari. This is the experience side of it. So let's step back again. What I'm going to show you now is I've downloaded a whole bunch of images onto the directory where I keep my raw files. I'm now going to synchronize that folder, bring those new images into Lightroom, and then very quickly go through the process of how I do what I just said to you. Here we go. So it's already, like I said, I've copied the images into this directory already. So it's on my hard drive, but remember, I still have to introduce them to Lightroom. So to do that, once they're already in the directory, I right click next to the directory and I say synchronize folder. Lightroom is now checking that directory and it says, okay, there's 107 new images that have been added since Lightroom last looked at this directory. I hit synchronize. So now my normal import dialog pops up. It shows me all the images in the middle. It's in the Mala Mala folder already, which means, remember, I only have to add. You only copy if you're bringing it from an external source, like a memory card or an iPhone or whatever it is. I'm going to add. I leave all of my basic import settings the same. If you have questions on it, send me an email, I'll sort you out. And I hit import. So now, all the images, I'm going to just open my tab so I've got a bit more space. I'm waiting now. So these images are new ones from last night and from this morning. So, one thing I want to point out to you at the top here, it's importing the files at their current location, right? So that means, again, they are already on the hard drive. Lightroom is just importing them into Lightroom, right? Now, this is important. These two bars over here, if I click on this, I'm creating standard previews and smart previews. I always do this upon import because smart previews for me means that I can run my Lightroom catalog, develop, export everything, even though the hard drive is not attached with the raw files. Or, for example, building standard preview just helps me and it generates the images inside of Lightroom so that I can work them. And I normally would wait for this to finish. I'll go have a cup of coffee, play with the dog, whatever. Well, not on the dog because I'm not at home, I'm on safari. So I'll have a cup of coffee, let that run, and then I'll start. But for the purposes of now, let's go through this. So what I do, I open up the bottom so that I've got my thumbnail strip at the bottom, and I double click on this so I work from here. Now, from here, I'm going to keep my one finger on the forward arrow, so I'm going to scroll through and through the back arrow, right? I'm either going to give it a 6 on the keyboard, which changes it to a red label, a 7, which gives it a yellow label, or if it's rubbish and I want to delete it, I'm going to hit X, which marks it as a reject. So if you look down here, it gets this little X, the black flag, right? So I'm going to look at this. Now, I'm not going to be too particular now. I will only X something if it's horrible, out of focus, cut off. If it's something I want to process, I will mark it as red. Yeah? So even if I start processing later on, I can always backtrack and unred it, take the red away. So for now, and the reason, just why I have these 3 down here is I can see for myself just by kind of looking down, am I looking at similar images here, or are they very different? So I know when to go forward and back and compare. So for me, this is how I'm going to work, right? So I'm going to go forward. I like probably the first one the best, so I'm going to give that a red. Okay, misfire, X. That's what I'm rejecting, X. Rhino, he's looking away from him, never going to use it, X. So I'm going to keep doing this and kind of just keep talking through this. Not bad. I mean, so you see why I keep the thumbs up. I can see what's coming up. Not one of those is major, but you would delete this. I'm not going to delete this because I could use this for me for blog posts in the future, right? Keep going. Okay, both of those. I'm seeing which one I'm comparing. I like the one with a curly trunk more, so I'll give that a 6 because I can still save the sky. I know this. Forward. Okay, this is bizarre. I'll tell you what it's about. One of the guests asked about the small camera I'm using, and they said, can you take a selfie with it? So yes, you can. I am going to, however, delete that. Okay, playing with panning stuff. Now, panning stuff, I'm going to do a very different video and sorting process on for you in the future. For me, this one here looks like it could be work. I'm not judging the image on what I see. I'm judging the image on the possibility. So I'm going to give that a red because I'm going to process that. No, if the face here was a bit sharper, so I'm just going to leave that. Again, I might use it for a blog post. Go through here, a little dwarf mongoose. Let me zoom in. Okay, that could work. I'm going to give that a 6 and that a 6. You see, I'm quite giving with my 6s here and the red labels because once I start processing, I know that these are the ones that could work, and I can always take the red label away. We keep going. Some landscapes, maybe put something like that in there. Ooh, misfire, X. People shots. I'm marking all of the people shots with 7 on the keyboard, which is the yellow frame. And then once I'm going to basically process all of it for them. See, this is easy. And then once I start processing through the yellow stuff, I will be able to give people, okay, video, I'm going to leave. Let's see here. I'm waiting for the image to pop. Nothing there. Okay, so that is, see, I'm going to leave these because this is blog post type stuff. What we were trying here, just out of interest, is we had these two lions with a spotlight, and there was lightning in the background. So we were hoping for some magic there, but it never really panned out. Shot a whole bunch of videos, which I'm going to scan through. Keep going here. Okay, images. So I mean here, this is, again, remember, I'm not doing hero shots. I'm doing shots that I can put on the website and show you what kind of stuff you could potentially get if you join me on a safari in that particular destination. So I'm going to just mark a couple. Again, these spotlight stuff I'll go through in more detail, but for me, that's why I don't delete them. You see, I can always go back later on. You see what's happening down here, just on the side? This loading here, right? It's because my previews and smart previews haven't been finished yet. So for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to fly through this. But that's why I would normally wait for this to go, because then I won't worry about this each time an image loads. Those are rejects. It's all messed up. People shots gets a 7. This is a scene shot, maybe for blog, leave. These little clip springers were quite cute, so one of them I'll use, gets a 6. Wider shot, I like that. Keep going, looking at the body position of the animal. Ooh, that's nice. So you guys see what I'm doing here. I am marking anything that has potential to be processed. And guys, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. Go through, nothing major. Those are all the same. But you see, I don't delete them. Because for me, I can use it for blog posts, or then one day on a Sunday, when I've got nothing better to do, I can go and sit with a nice whiskey and then work through the images from there. There's a double, maybe. Scene shot just to show. See, for me, I'm saving stuff like this because if you ask me, oh, what's the Sabi Sands look like? That's what I'll show you. That could be interesting. And just a video at the end. This was a cool sighting from this morning, but it never really panned out. Right. So once I've gone through that process, I'm now going to look at my grid view here. Let me a bit smaller. So you see, I've now got a whole bunch of reds. I've got some yellows, and then there's some X's in there as well. So the X's are the reject ones. Now, for you, if you want to look at your X'd images first, you could go attributes, and you can mark, where is it? Over there. click that, and it'll only show me my X's, and I can delete it from here. What I prefer to do, because I'm not nervous about Xing, but I'm very aware of which ones I'm doing. Once I've X'd, I know I want to get rid of them. I'm going to hit Command backspace or Control backspace if you're on a PC, and that brings up that. Delete 11 rejected master photos. Yes, I don't want to remove them because that'll only remove them from Lightroom and it'll leave them on my hard drive. I want to get rid of them, so I'd say delete from disk. And now Lightroom's doing that. Boom, so they're gone. Now at this stage, that's where I take it up until on a Safari. So let me show you here. Of those images, show me only the red ones. So those are the images I'm going to process, and that has the potential then to end on a portfolio website, right? Again, guys, not hero shots. I'm building a portfolio. I think it's silly that some people only share 2 images per trip when you've got some good stuff. My website is all my images, and then I can build my portfolio and my best off from there. So that is the ones I will be processing. If I go to the yellow ones, these are the images of the people that I will then be posting and sharing with them. So, does that make sense? I hope so. Again, there are many ways to do this, but for me this works. Again, you download, then you go through, and I do 3 things. Number 1, I X all the rejected images. Number 2, I will mark, for me red works because it's visual, I will mark with red the images that I want to process, and if there's anything else, for example, in this case people shots, because I said to them I will document their experience for them, I will give that another label. If I have, what else could I do? For example, in Kenya, if we're at our camp, I might use the yellow not for people but for marketing images for our camp. So camp shots, staff shots, and so on. That's it. I then work through all of those images, giving them either an X or a red or another color. I then delete the X's and done. If I can do that every day on Safari, my life when I get home is a lot simpler because I can start editing immediately, go through. I know some people delete the images they don't use. Me, I keep it because, I mean, what it is, you just buy a new hard drive and spacing is not an issue. But for me, because maybe I want to write a book one day, watch your space. Maybe it's for a blog post, maybe it's for an article, but I keep my images, unless they're real shitty, I keep all of them because you never know what you could use. Guys, that's an example of how to do a very quick sorting workflow. Works for me. It's kind of self-explanatory and very common sense based. If you have any other options, please shout. I'd love to hear from you, or more importantly, if you have questions. How did you do this? Why did you do this? Is there another way too? Because the answer to all of those is yes. There's always another way, and I would love to share those with you. Any questions? My email is down here. Jerry, email me and I will help you, or I will create a video of your question, because if you have the question, it's very likely someone else does as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Happy Lightrooming, and I'll chat to you next time. My name is Jerry. I'm from Maldai. Have a good one.